What's the best advice that you've ever received?
Well, I received it in a variety of forms, particularly from my father when I was very young. But I mean, he basically, I think, taught me how to live. Not that I did it perfectly or anything like that, but I mean, he was giving me lessons, but he wasn't doing it by preaching to me. He was doing it by example. But basically, well, the biggest lesson, in a sense, I got is the power of unconditional love. I mean, I think there is no power on earth like unconditional love, and I think that if you offer that to your child, I mean, you're 90% of the way home, and there may be days when you don't feel like it. It's not uncritical love. That's a different animal. But to know you always can come back, I mean, that is huge in life. That takes you a long, long way. And I would say that every parent out there that can extend that to their child at a very young age, it's going to make for a better human being.
And you felt like you got that kind of unconditional love from your dad?
I absolutely did, yeah.
That is a powerful thing.
It is a powerful thing. If you have savings, and it's a good idea to have them if you can have, just buy index funds and just buy them every month, and don't listen to financial advisors like me. Don't read financial pages. I mean, you don't need to do it. I mean, if you buy a farm, you don't get a weather forecast every morning. You don't get a quote on the farm every morning. You look at the farm itself. You say, is this farm going to produce so many bushels an acre of corn or soybeans, and is that satisfactory in relation to what I pay? If you buy a piece of American industry and you get a cross section, you're going to do well over 10 or 20 or 30 years. But you're not going to do it if you try and dance in and out every day. The Dow Jones average started the 20th century at 66. It ended at 11,400. You'd say, how could you lose money during a period like that? A lot of people did, because they tried to dance in and out. But American business has done fine for investors over a long period of time, just like American farms have done fine for people. American apartment houses have done well for people over a long period of time. You can't dance in and out of them.
When you look at this recovery, what do you see?
Well, I see a recovery, and it started getting stronger in March, April, and May. It seems to have leveled off a little bit, but this economy is coming back. And incidentally, since we became a country, I don't know whether we've had 15 or 18 recessions, but we had 7 or 8 in the 19th century. They happen. We do not live in a world where the next 100 years are all going to be good years. We do live in a world where in the next 100 years, 80 years will be good, and we just can't predict exactly when those other 20 will happen. We had a particularly tough recession because we had the biggest bubble I've ever seen in my life, followed by a financial panic that I've never seen in my life, and that had to reverberate throughout the economy. And you don't come back the next day or the next week or the next month from a binge like we were on, but we're coming back. I mean, there's no question in my mind we're coming back.
What advice do you have for those of us who may not have the same number of zeros in our net worth, but want to raise a generation of children who really want to take on society's problems?
Well, they'll follow by example. I mean, not every child's going to do that, but generally speaking, their parents, they start out as their heroes anyway, and they want to do what their heroes do. I mean, you tell me who your hero is, and I'll sort of tell you what you're going to do. And if they see you behaving in a certain manner, I think they're likely to pick up on it. And fortunately, my wife was a terrific hero. I may not have been so good, but she really cared about other people enormously, and my 3 children grew up seeing that.
What are you passionate about now that you weren't when you were younger?
Well, that's a good question. I enjoy teaching a lot. But I did some of that when I was younger, but now it's easier to get an audience now, I'll put it that way. I will have 48 schools, university, colleges, come out in this next semester, and I really enjoy. I stand on my feet for a few hours, and I have lunch with them. We get pictures. I mean, it's the whole day. And at the end of the day, I feel good.
I know one of your new initiatives, and one that you care deeply about that you've been working on with Bill and Melinda Gates, is the Giving Challenge.
Right.
A lot of high-wealth individuals here. Are you recruiting at all?
I do hope that with a few hundred people out there that maybe we strike a chord with a couple of them. So far, we've just gotten started on this, but we've talked to a number of people, and we're admittedly picking people who we have reason to think somewhat like we do to start with. But the reception's really been good. I think we're going to have some success with this.
What's the pitch, and when you're in there, how do you close the deal?
Well, it's pretty low key when I do. I don't know about Bill and Melinda, what they say, but I usually send them ahead of time a little material on it, and I send them my own pledge, and I tell them I'll be giving them a call.
Has Oprah joined your pledge?
I have not called Oprah, and I don't think Bill's called Oprah, but she'll get called, and as will a whole lot of people.
Ultimately, what do you hope to accomplish with this?
I just hope that the norm for how wealthy people, what they do with their money, either during their lifetimes or at death, moves a little bit more toward giving it back to society. And whenever they want to do it, in whatever manner they wish to do, we're not there to tell them what to do with their money. But we hope that a lot of people really haven't made up their minds, and we think it's a big mistake to wait till you're 95 or something when your willpower is gone and maybe your brain power is gone to some extent, and make that your last will. It's something to think out earlier. And by all means, treat your family well. By all means, treat yourself well. But if there's a lot left over, think about society.